And we are back with the Investor Guys podcast. When I say back, it's a new day for us. New episode. I'm Kevin Mills. This gentleman is Bill Barnett. And Bill and I have been talking a lot via text and phone and back and forth here before we go live about our upcoming trip to Cleveland. Now, I've been investing in Cleveland for more than 30 years. I don't want to say how long because I'm an old man. Bill is just starting to get into it, and he has gotten pretty excited about it. And there really are. There's lots of opportunities in Cleveland. Now, I love Cleveland because I've spent so much time there. It is literally a second home. Part of my move to Florida, as Bill knows, was going to be spending the summers in Northeast Ohio on Lake Erie and spending my winters here in the mild weather of Florida. It didn't work out this year because of coronavirus, but I literally like that area that much, not just because of the investment, but I like being on Lake Erie. I like the people that are in Cleveland. I like the things that there are to do in Cleveland that I'm ready to commit to half a year as long as I don't have snow. And Bill, real quick, before we get started on the show, you were talking about some of the things that you were excited about in Cleveland. You've been to Cleveland before too. What is your take on Cleveland? What is your take on what you're seeing? What is your take on what you saw when you were in Cleveland? I know you weren't looking at real estate, but just I'm sure you got out and met some people.
Yeah, well, so there's just it's an old established city. One of the things that's I find really intriguing about the real estate market there is it's a very flat market. For the most part, certainly not all of it, but for the most part, it's a very flat market. And one of the things I was talking to one of the lenders that we both use and that specializes in the Cleveland market, and I was talking to him about the fact that we have so much in our country right now that need so many markets that need additional Section 8 housing. You've heard me say this before. If you've been a long time listener, you'll hear me say it again down the road. There are no major markets in the U.S. that do not have adequate Section 8 housing. With the changes in the Section 8 program, it has become the greatest hands-free, hands-off, passive income, and I mean truly passive, income environment that you can get in the real estate market, my opinion. Cleveland is probably one of the prime examples of a great need. They need more Section 8 housing and great opportunity in the fact that you can still get houses that, I live in a very moderately priced real estate market. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. And so many people that move out here from other parts of the country come in and they're blown away as like how cheap real estate is. Well, I'm going to tell you, that real estate is cheaper in the Cleveland market, and I have a really hard time finding the type of deal that we could put together in Cleveland here. Now, if you have the ability to get the funding, put it together privately, whatever it happens to be, and then sit down and us get the right properties, and Kevin and I can do that with you. Get you into a management company handling it that is good, solid. Make sure that you've got a great real estate agent there. You've got lenders there. All of those things so that it becomes a hands-off process. And I hear people all the time that will yak about, I had a rental property or I had several rental properties. And I just hated it. I've had a rental property for years. Absolutely love it. When the first time Kevin and I met in L.A., years ago, when Kevin looked about the same. I didn't have any gray then that I remember. So many years ago, I lived in LA in the 80s and late 80s, early 90s, and that's when Kevin and I met. And so the first time that we met, I'd already had rental property here in the Dallas market, in the north end of Dallas, for years, and absolutely loved it. In fact, when I moved back, it lessened the stress of returning because I had called my tenant and said, hey, look, I'm planning on coming back in about 90 days, and I need this property to have some place to live. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the next 90 days free, but I'm putting you on notice right now. We're already on a month to month, putting you on notice that I am moving back, and I'm moving back into this house. So you got 90 days. You can live there till then rent free, but you're going to need to find a place to move, and didn't have any issues with that. But the entire time that I was out there, the only time I heard from the agent managing the property was if we went over a set dollar amount on a repair. Now, most months, no repairs of any kind whatsoever. 2 or 3 times a year, I would see on my check, because you get an itemized detail on the check, oh, gee, we spent $85 for this or $110 for that or whatever. If it had to be, basically, I think back then, it's $500 now. Back then, it was $300. That if they needed to spend more than $300, they made me aware of that on the front end. And so it was incredibly convenient. It's about getting the right tenants, having the right management in place, and you will get addicted to rental income. And what started this whole push for us doing this podcast is a conversation that Kevin and I had, and I asked him at the beginning of the shutdown how this was affecting his real estate business, and he's like, what? I'm like, the shutdown. Well, it's not affecting my business. Well, how's that? Because all of my money comes from the federal government, and just light bulbs and went off like crazy. I'm like, we got to let people know that they can get involved in real estate investing and do it in a way where they're really, truly protected. When there's a lot of other pieces to that, truly protected, because it's going to get significantly worse before it gets better. We're about to go into a real estate downturn. That's going to happen no matter who wins the election. And it's because it's just the cycle nature of the business. We are at break time. Guys, sorry I'll hog that break, Kev. We'll be right back. Guys, podcast, hang on. We'll see you right after the break.
A lot of real estate training programs claim that they will make you a millionaire, but how many of them will guarantee it? The Millionaire Blueprint comes with a millionaire guarantee. I guarantee that if you use the strategies and you use the formulas that you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint, you will be a millionaire. I guarantee that with a double your money back guarantee. Whether you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest or absolutely nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to start investing and be a millionaire guaranteed. Now, I can't tell you all about it in this short amount of time, so go to theguaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's theguaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Watch the videos there. Read about the guarantee. Read more about what we offer with the Millionaire Blueprint. Get signed up. I'll see you in Palm Beach. Are you ready to start adding performing properties to your portfolio, high performing properties to your portfolio? If so, check out the Real Estate Buyers event. Once a month, with the exception of December, Bill and I host a real estate buyers event in a high performing market where he and I are both investing. He and I both have experience. We share our experiences, our resources, what to buy, what not to buy, where not to buy, what strategies to use to get great returns on your investment in these markets. If you want to read more about it and you want to join us for one of these future real estate buyers events, go to realestatebuyersevent.com. That's realestatebuyersevent.com. We'll see you there.
There we go.
And we are back with the Investor Guys podcast. And just before the break, Bill was going off on Section 8, and that's because that is one of our primary focuses when we go to Cleveland. And we're moving up on a Cleveland real estate buyers event. There are some other strategies in Cleveland, but by far our strongest strategy in Cleveland is Section 8. And as Bill said, regardless of what's going on with the economy and with the market and with these coronavirus lockdowns, which is what we're doing right now, I'm still getting my rent payments from Section 8 tenants. They come to my property manager actually on or before the first of the month. They are direct deposited into her or his, but mostly her account that she has that has my number on it. So it's called a broker's account or a trust account. and it goes into her account. And then she issues me my check, which is direct deposited into my account, usually about 2 or 3 days after that, minus her management fee and repairs, or if she has to replenish a repair fund or something for one of the properties. So typically within the first 5 days or so of every month, I have big giant checks coming in on Section 8 properties from my property managers. And this happens no matter what. And this is going to happen until the government goes broke and admits they go broke and stops the Section 8 program, which I probably don't expect to happen in my lifetime. Okay. No. So it's a guaranteed check. And we used to say in the mailbox before we used to direct deposit. And that's how long I've been doing this. They used to mail us the check. They'd mail it out a few days ahead of time. So sometimes you'd actually get the check 3 or 4 days before the first in your mailbox. And if you can't count on the American government to send you these checks, I guess a lot of people aren't getting their coronavirus check. But if you can't count on them to send you your Section 8 checks, then we need to worry about other things other than real estate investing.
And look, the Section 8 program is going to get bigger. I think it's going to get significantly bigger. When you talk to anybody that watches the real estate market, and I don't mean like watch it from a microscopic standpoint of what's happening right now today only, but a bigger picture of this is where we've been, this is how long we've been there, we're on the turn going to the other side, this is how long it likely will take us to get there. Then when you do that, you understand that the Section 8 market is likely to be gigantic over the next, it's a good solid market right now, but it's going to get huge over the next 5 to 7 years.
So originally when we started this show, we had talked about what we would do getting ready to go to Cleveland for our buyers event. But since we're kind of off on a different tangent, let's do that a different day. Let's talk about the reasons why we like Cleveland for investing, why it makes sense to invest in Cleveland, and overall, what is the draw? What is the pull for Cleveland? Now, Cleveland, as Bill said at the beginning of the show, lots of history. I mean, Cleveland goes back to the 1700s. Ohio, that territory of Ohio was one of the areas that the British generals were hoping the king was going to give them if they won the Revolutionary War. It has gone back thousands and thousands of years. Before that, it was occupied by Indians. Where Cleveland sits has been habited by humans for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Cleveland sits right at the mouth of the Cuyahoga River. It is a steel city, and when it was becoming a steel city, it was also the financial capital of America. It's where J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Carnegie, all those names lived in Cleveland, and their names are still on buildings, their names are still on streets. It was the richest city in America at one point. When our jobs all went overseas into different places, the steel industry got hurt. And we call Cleveland, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Detroit, all of those cities fall into what we call the Rust Belt because they were all dependent upon the steel industry. Those cities are now bouncing back, and Cleveland is seeing a huge resurgence, not just with steel, but with technology and other things as well. So overall, Cleveland is seeing a lot of growth. However, because it is a large city in America, and because politics being what politics are, we won't get that started on this show, there's a huge need for Section 8. There are more people who are qualified for Section 8 in the Cleveland area than there is Section 8 units for them. So much so that the Section 8 office actually has days where property managers or property owners can bring their properties to the Section 8 office, post them on a bulletin board, and Section 8 recipients who are already qualified with a voucher can actually grab those numbers and start calling and looking for properties. One of the things that I like about Cleveland and Section 8, apart from the guaranteed paycheck and how easy it is that Section 8 office in Cleveland is probably the best I have ever worked with. They have meetings once a month with owners and project manager, managers for your property managers. I'm stuck in construction mode here too. And they ask you, what is it we could be doing better? What is it you like that we're doing that we could expand upon? What needs do you see? What issues do we need to address? And most section offices, as Bill probably knows, aren't that hands-on. They do not interact with you that way. Cleveland, for me, apart from the income, is amazing because you can purchase a property that might need a little bit of paint for about $50,000, and you can put tenants into that property. And using a leverage strategy where you're putting 20% down, so it's $10,000, you're making 50% or more every year just counting on Section 8. So if you do minimum Section 8 numbers, you're talking about 50% or more per year. Now, that may not seem like a lot on one investment. $5,000 a year is not a big deal. However, consider doing 10, 20, 30 of those. How easy would it be to get into 10 of those properties? Now you're talking about $50,000 a year cash flow that's not costing you anything every single year in your pocket pre-tax. Yeah. Cleveland is amazing. Yeah. It is just an easy place to get started if you haven't bought real estate before. It is an easy place to start growing if you're an investor like Bill, who has a lot of experience, and he just is looking for a place now to start dumping money and start getting a good return.
So let's take a break here. We're a little bit over on our segment. Make sure you hang around for more Investor Guys podcast with Kevin and Bill. We'll be right back after the break. Thanks, Dan.
Las Vegas isn't only a great city to visit, it's a great city to invest in. Bill and I both have been investing in the Vegas area for decades, and that's one of the reasons why we have our real estate buyers event in Las Vegas, Nevada. Check out the same strategies, the same types of properties, the resources that we're using here on the ground, the people that we're using here on the ground to get the same types of returns that we're getting here in Las Vegas. The Real Estate Buyers Event, that's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about this event, find out where we're going to be, including when we're going to be in Vegas next, and register. We'll see you soon. My name's Kevin Mills. I have a real estate training program that is so powerful, I will back it up with a double your money back guarantee that it will make you a millionaire. That's right. Double your money back guarantee that you will be a millionaire if you use what you learn in the Millionaire Blueprint. I call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint, and you can read more about it and watch more videos at guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Check it out. All the information is there.
And we are back with the Investor Guys podcast. In the last segment, I was talking about reasons why I like to go to Cleveland. Now, this is from my standpoint because I've spent, like I said, 35 years investing in Cleveland. Tell me your experiences in Cleveland, because I know you visited Cleveland on various different speaking engagements, and you've heard through the grapevine lots of things about Cleveland. And now that you're looking into it, you've got more insight into Cleveland. I want to hear your perspective because you are a seasoned investor, but Cleveland is still a new market for you.
Sure. So, and that's a whole different world. Anytime I've done a lot. This is what I've done the majority of my adult life by far. Love it. Plan on doing it until they lower me in the hole, and going to own that piece of real estate too. So what you look at is when I go into a different market, what is it that I need to know about that market? And when I'm looking at Section 8, it changes the thing that I look for. If I'm going into a normal rental, and by that I mean a non-Section 8 rental, then I'm going to be all into tell me about the job growth market here. But when I'm in Section 8, I'm looking at what's the demand. I want a high demand market. Cleveland's a high demand market. I want a high demand market because if I've got a high demand market, then I can cherry pick who I want to have as my tenants. Now, one of the things that Kevin taught me that we're going to teach you guys is to make sure that we're going with the tenants that have a voucher big enough that it covers 100% of the rent. Because what that does is it gets us out of any kind of collection game whatsoever. So I want to look at where is there great demand. I've already told you that all the major cities in our country have more need than they have supply. But I want to look at where there is a great demand. Then I want to look at, can I get into property cheap enough that I can make the return that I need to make? Well, I've got to be able to make, in my opinion, and Kevin's not only on board, but ahead of me on this, we have to be able to, in our opinion, make 50% a year on our money. Now, that's cash on cash. You look at that. So if I'm investing $10,000 to get into, as the example was given, and that's a duplex, it's a $50,000 duplex, 20% down, $10,000. So if I'm putting up the $10,000, if I'm making 50%, that is a home run. Now, I come from the investment banking background. That is where my quote unquote professional training was in life before I got into real estate. And when you go back and you start looking at rate of return, that's what everybody's concerned about. Anytime you can get into double-digit returns, well, you're grinning from ear to ear. But when you start looking at 50, 60, 70% return per year on your cash, those are numbers you cannot afford not to pay attention to. If you're a serious real estate investor and you're not looking at joining us, I may question how serious you really are, because this is the kind of return that becomes wealth for your children, your grandchildren. It's generational wealth, and it can accumulate in a surprisingly fast manner once you learn the secrets of the game. And that's what we do on the buyers events. We teach you the secrets of the game, take it and run, go from there, and you're going to love what's happening. Now, if you have some interest, all you have to do is go over to the investorguyspodcast.com, over to the website. You'll see information about the upcoming buyers event in Cleveland. And again, I stress to you, you don't have to have great credit. You don't have to have a lot of cash. We show you how to work around that stuff. But if you're interested in building a portfolio that will take care of you for the rest of your life, will be passed on to your kids, and can continue to grow and get to where you're making serious money, then this is where you want to be.
Yeah, and really the amazing thing with Cleveland, and there are a few markets like Cleveland, but the amazing thing with Cleveland is you can get started investing in real estate in Cleveland because of the price points. It is so low. You can have practically nothing and get started in Cleveland. Or as a seasoned investor, you can start taking your money from other markets where you're getting incomes and start sinking it into a market like Cleveland and really supercharging your investing efforts, because 50% and up is a significant return on investment. So if you're getting 50% in Cleveland, like I said, you can take your incomes from other markets. And if you're a serious investor, if you have experience already, you're looking for new places to invest. You're looking for another place to put that money so that it keeps working for you. You already know how it works. Your money, if it's not working for you, it's getting spent. So the sooner you put it into an investment, the more it's going to start making you money. If Cleveland can make you 50% or better, it is a market that absolutely deserves your attention. Now, some of the things that we're going to do when we get to Cleveland, okay, I'm going to go over the strategies specifically, the types of properties that you want to buy, the areas that you want to buy in, and the areas you want to stay away from. We're going to go over improvements that you'll want to do to the properties and improvements that you won't want to do to the properties. Many of the properties that are out there already have these improvements done, but these are things that we're going to look for specifically in the properties that we're looking at. I'm going to introduce you to people who I know personally in the Cleveland market, real estate agents, people who specialize in investor loans, property managers. We might even meet some politicians. We will meet people from the Cleveland market who will be able to not only tell you more information about Cleveland, and what they like about Cleveland because it's their home, but they'll be able to serve as team members for you on the ground in Cleveland so that you'll be able to pick up the phone. You'll be able to answer an email and you'll know the person on the other side because you've met them, you've had a relationship with them. One of the things that I recommend to people, Bill, is, and it might be a little difficult because we're going to do this the week before Thanksgiving, but plan on staying an extra day or two and team up with somebody who you met in this class. Get a rental car and call one of these people who you've met and go look at more properties. We're not going to get a chance to look at every single property that's available as a group. So make a list during those 3 days, those 4 days, and go out and look at some of those properties, make offers on those properties while your boots are on the ground in Cleveland, and know that all you have to do is make a phone call to see what's going on with everything else. It is literally a turnkey solution for you to be investing in Cleveland. We're going to give you all those tools. It's 4 days for us to do that for you. You have to join us. You have to help us. You have to make it, happen for you. We can't just do it without you being there. But we're going to hand you the keys to the vault as far as Cleveland investing goes.
We'll even teach you how to do it with no money out of your own pocket to do that, other than coming to the class, of course.
Yes.
But it's going to be a great time. We're going to have a blast. It is going to be small. We are keeping it small. We're running way over here, but look, this is important right now. We want you guys to join us. How you do that is you jump over to investorguyspodcast.com. Change your life, change your financial future for you and your family, for your kids, your grandkids. Join us in Cleveland, and it is going to be a blast.
And we do have fun. We forgot to mention, every evening there is a social event. We will get out into the city of Cleveland. We'll go to a comedy club. We'll go to a dinner. We'll do different things every evening so that you can get a feel for Cleveland. I've actually had students, Bill, I've told you this before, who packed up their bags, sold their house in different cities in Los Angeles and San Diego, Chicago, different cities, and literally relocated to Cleveland because they like the city that much, not just because of the investments. We'll have fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Keep tuned in because as we get into getting to this Cleveland event, we are going to be doing more and more information about Cleveland and about strategies that work in Cleveland and other markets and things to start getting ready for as you join us in Cleveland if you decide you want to do that. We look forward to seeing you on the next Investor Guys podcast. Bill, have an awesome week. It is Monday. I will talk to you later on.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.